Hi, my name is Dora Bjort and I am involved with the Icelandic Pirate Party, and I'm now here sitting in Reykjavik. I am the second deputy MP of the Pirate Party, and I'm now running for city council election, which will be in May. And I would like to talk to you about civic tech and citizen participation, because that's something that we in the Pirate Party are very concerned about, something that we're very interested in. And what is that? What is civic tech? Well, it's technology used for enhancing the relationship between citizens and the government and making the public a part of decision-making processes. And this is basically about democracy and how we can use the technology to enhance democracy. And what is democracy? There are certain pillars of democracy, like information freedom, like freedom of the press, the possibilities of the public to affect decision-making processes in a very direct way, like direct democracy. And these things all to come together in this notion of democracy, basically. So we have been trying to find ways to use the new technologies to support democracy and make the citizens become empowered. With that, we believe that everyone's life will become better, because obviously more ideas coming together will be better than just one person sitting there and deciding everything. So we believe that it's gonna make the lives of everyone better and make the policy better, essentially. Because what is law? Law and rules are essentially the maps of our societies, and we should all be allowed to decide on them together. And that's the most democratic way of doing it, we believe. So how can we do that? Obviously, these things have changed a lot the past 20 years. Before, information wasn't as available as today, as you know. Documents were only in paper copies, so you had politicians, quite strong politicians, that decided everything, because it was difficult for the public to actually get the information to be able to make enlightened choices. So at that point, citizens needed to trust the politicians blindly, because they couldn't really check the information themselves because it wasn't really available to them. And at this point, you got news in paper copies, so you were also very dependent on news agencies to provide you with the necessary information to be able to at least check if the politicians were doing something wrong. And this gave people with money a lot of power, because people with money could buy news agencies and they could basically decide which information you as a citizen would get. And this has historically been a big problem here in Iceland, because we are a small nation with few newspapers. For example, one of our biggest parties, the Independence Party, that's a right-wing party, they basically own a newspaper here, one of the biggest newspapers. And this gives them a lot of power. Another newspaper here is owned by a very wealthy person who was very connected to the financial crisis in 2008. So this is a problem, this is a democratic problem. But with the new technologies and with the internet, this has been changing. So now we're getting information from many different places. We're getting more news plurality, which is a really good thing. Today, the citizens know more about the policies. They might even know more, and they often do know more than politicians about what should be decided. So, of course, it's good to use that and try to change the way democracy works, because this is a good thing. This is gonna help us make better policies, make better laws that help the public, because before it could be easy for politicians to decide upon laws that would serve them and serve the elite. Whereas today, with more transparency and more information, it's easier for the public to follow the making of the law and see whether it's actually serving the public or not. What is needed for this to happen is the structure of the political system to change, because you need the hardware around the system for the citizen to be able to come into the system and become empowered and make the software, which is the law. Or the rules or the policies. This is something that we in the Pirate Party are trying to do. We want to spread the power. That is actually one of our biggest purposes. We want to spread the power. We want power to become more flat. We don't want these old hierarchical structures of the old politics. We want everyone to become empowered. We want to be stronger together, because we think we will make better policies together. The way we do this is, I would just want to mention a few examples. Here in Iceland we in the Pirate Party, we have internet forums where people can discuss ideas, discuss policies, and talk to representatives in parliament or in city council. And it's very easy to get in contact with our representatives online in different forums. We have a forum that is connected to our website. We also have a forum in Facebook that is quite large. It's not only Pirate Party members there, it's a lot of different kind of people, but it's originally a Pirate Party forum, and it's quite popular. And there you can just go, and if you have a comment on what the representatives are doing, you can just tag them, and usually they will answer you within a short notice. So that's very practical. Another thing we have is, for example, the way we make policy. So we have meetings where we discuss ideas and we make a draft policy. And then this policy is put online where it's discussed and where changes can be made. And then eventually it's voted on online. So all our policies made this way because we want everyone to be able to participate. Also, last year I was working in the European Parliament with a pirate representative there, Julia Reda from Germany. I was an intern for her, and the pirates in the European Parliament have changed some things there. They're trying to and get citizens more engaged. They're trying to empower citizens in the European Union as well, like pressuring for changes in a direct democracy tool called, for example, the European Citizens Initiative. They have been pressuring for that to change, and it's actually being reformed now. So they're doing a lot of good work there. They also have been pressuring the political group of the Pirate Party, the Green Group, for using this transparency register for lobbyists called LobbyCall. And it basically means that everyone who wants to lobby the politicians will be registered in that register for everyone to see. Because, transparency is essentially a very important part of democracy. It's about, opening the windows to the power. It's about getting more information out there for the citizens to become more enlightened with what's happening. They've also used the internet to get comments on, for example, a report Julia Reda made a few years ago, a very big report, and they got comments from the public online and used that to change the report and to fix it. We are using civic tech in a very active way in policy making and in all decision making, basically. It's a goal of the Pirate Party for the representatives to be a tool for the citizens, because essentially representative democracy is a limitation of democracy, and we're trying to kind of get away from that. We're trying to go in a direction where the citizen itself is more empowered and can be a larger part of the democracy system, because essentially democracy is a scale, and the question is just like, how far towards direct democracy do you want to go, and what is possible. And this is of course changing from day-to-day basis in the ever-changing world of internet technology and new ideas. And I also want to mention another thing we have been doing in the party here in Iceland when it comes to civic tech, and that is something that has been done in the city. There is a direct democracy platform called Better Reykjavik, and another one called My Neighborhood. And My Neighborhood is a participatory budgeting system, and it's basically a pot of money that the citizens can use to fix things in their neighborhoods. And Better Reykjavik has been used for the citizens to being able to send in ideas, and the most popular ideas every month have to be discussed in city council. Last year, this platform was also used for making a new education policy. So the party is pressuring for these methods to be used more and for more different projects. They also expanded the money pot that was used for My Neighborhood in the period that is coming to an end now. The parties in the city have been pushing for more democracy and more transparency as well. The pirate in the city council, we have one pirate represented in the city council today, but we have more in different committees. They have been pressuring for opening of the city budget for that to become transparent. And not only for that to become transparent, but also for the raw data to be published, so that it'll be easier for example, journalists or people who want to dig deep in that to use machines to read it and to process it. We have also pushed for the documents of the city to come online. There's a project called Electronic Reykjavik that we are pushing for, because all the documents, all the meeting minutes, everything needs to be online for the citizens to be able to check what's happening and to pressure for, better policies or better decision making. As of today, some of these documents are available if you ask for them, but that might take a long time. That might even take many weeks, and sometimes you need it right now for a certain purpose. And that's why we are so concerned with these documents coming online, because it should be easily available. Transparency and availability of information is not just about whether it's available to you, it's about how available it is to you and how easily available it is. So that's a very important thing to think of. People speak about this problem with the democracy today, this democratic crisis, some call it, where people are not showing up at the polling station. And this is a problem in many countries, apparently. And I used to think that it just meant that people were kind of fed up with the politicians, that didn't trust the politicians. And that's probably a reason, that's definitely a part of it. And that probably comes with more transparency as well, because you can see more easily what the politicians are doing and when they're not doing what they said they would do. But another thing I've come to think of is that citizens can be engaged in politics in different ways. They can be more directly engaged online. They can share ideas, they can discuss online, they can write articles and publish it online in a very easy manner. And I think that citizens are sick of just being able to vote every 4 years or every 5 years. They want to be more involved. And I think we, as people in politics, need to take that demand very seriously and make the systems where the citizens can be more involved. We need to come to the citizens to where they are being active and listen, and not just sit here and demand for them to vote every 4 years. Like we need to change the system so that this vote every 4 years is not the only thing the citizens have, because that is a huge problem, especially when people are not showing up at the polling station. And I think this is something that is especially a problem amongst young people, because young people, they have grown up with this reality of the internet. and they're used to being able to express their opinions online, and they're used to being in close contact with people online, and you know, that kind of brings with it this idea of the flat structure, because you can just tweet and you know, tag a politician that makes you feel more empowered. So people who want to affect politics should be able to do so, but then we need to change the system for this to happen, basically. If we want to co-create laws and make policy together and empower citizens, this change needs to happen. Thank you for listening and have a great meeting. Bye.